Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to yet another episode of ICPA Clinical Series. As you all know, ICPA Clinical Series works on the philosophy of solving one clinical challenge in every episode. But today we have a burning issue, so we don't call it just another clinical episode. It's a special episode, and we are trying to solve a problem where everybody is trying to fight the misinformation and trying to get to the truth. So, the topic of the day is survival of the fittest, decoding the medical devices rule for the dental market. And as you all know, FDA, CDS, CO have come up with a new rule which is going to be implemented from 1st October 2022, that is the next week. And this rule is set to change the entire dental industry, how every level of dental industry is going to function at the level of manufacturing, trading, selling, and everyone associated with this will be affected in our daily business as well as dental practice. And looking at the discussion happening on social media, many what you can say sets of misinformation are making rounds. We need to get rid of the myths and misconceptions and try to get rid of the fears and anxiety people have regarding the trade shows. And we should know the truth, and we should know how to embrace the law, how to overcome the initial glitches, so that our overall dental industry can be benefited by this new rule. So, what we have done today is we have invited experts who know the medical devices rule from the FDA point of from their experience with the FDA, CDS, CO. We have our guest speaker, Mr. Vivek Mangalvedekar, who is the director of SH Pitkar Ortho Tools Private Limited, and he's an expert in medical devices rule. He will be answering all the questions regarding the new rule. Along with him, we have selected, or we have requested, invited three people who represent the three segments of dental industry. Mr. Bhushan Pitkar, who is the director of Prisima Technologies Private Limited, will be representing the manufacturers. He'll be asking questions that manufacturers have regarding this rule. Then we have Mr. Jignesh Sheth, Director of Bombay Dental and Surgical Private Limited. He'll be representing the importers and traders, and he will be asking the questions from the traders' point of view. And lastly, we have Dr. Vivek Patni, my very good friend and a consulting orthodontist and innovator, who will be representing the dentists. Dr. Vivek Patni was the one who weathered the storm in the recent orthodontic conference. He was the one who had all the documents in place when the FDA authorities came for inspection. So we have all the right people chosen from all the segments, and we are very fortunate to have Mr. Vivek Mangalvedekar sir, who with his immense experience and interaction with FDA and CDSO CO will be sharing his insights. And I invite all of you to this show. And welcome Vivek sir, Jignesh Sheth, Bhushan Pitkar sir, and Dr. Vivek Patni. So
Thank
without
thank
losing
you.
much time, I would like to share the presentation of Vivek Mangalvedekar sir so that he can may start his presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajeev. And it is really a pleasure to be here. Uh, as the whole presentation appears to be moving in the direction it is saying, I'm your man Friday for a day, and I'm really liking it. Thank you very much, all of you, for putting me here, inviting me here, and I'll make all possible attempt to make the presentation worthwhile. I would try to answer all your questions in all honesty. Few may be to your taste, few may not be to your taste, but they will speak the reality. So, I would request, let us start with the first slide.
Can you see the slide now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, a couple of days back, there was an incident, and, Dr. Patni, uh, on that day had all the documents in the given conference, and he got away. I think that is what has ignited the whole discussion. and that is what has ignited the entire community to sort of wake up. And we are here on to discuss the issues and take the matter further, right? So it is generally in India that you need one particular episode to click on, and then everybody is on the toes. So I hope this is one incident which will sort of waken up all the sleeping giants, and we all face this together. Just to make the entire episode wonderful in the hands of surgeons. Uh, I'm not going to speak about uh, laws directly. I'm just going to pinpoint certain dates which are very, very critical from your perspective. There are many people who may think that the dental implants have come in the regime of FDA just few days back. Few will feel it was there from the earlier times. There could be a lot of debate on this. That is why I'm starting day by day, and we will chronologically arrive at a point. I will have only 5 slides, but that will be speaking all the truth. So the first slide talks about 7th October 2005. It is a government GR, central government GR number 427 under Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1945. Just to brief you the fact, JJ Hospital, there was one incident where the stent supplied to a patient had been a failure. The matter went to the High Court. When it went to the court, the High Court judge opined at that time that this particular item needs to be regulated. And what is the rule book in India? The drugs controller of India and the central government came together and say we have no rule book today, and we need to put a rule book in place. And that is how central government took out a notification on this great day, 7th October 2005, that there will 10 notified devices which were brought under the Drugs and Cosmetic Rule 1945. These medical devices were mainly implants like stents, catheters, lenses, orthopedic implants, heart valves, bone cements, and not to forget the 10th item, internal prosthetic replacements. Now, internal prosthetic replacement is a very, very larger term. Nobody understood at that point in time how many items get covered. And eventually, as you start going, today you see a notification detailing and the classification of the products. You will find the large number of items being covered under internal prosthetic replacement. Next slide, please. Yeah, so here we are. If you look at you know uh, the Drugs and Cosmetic Act, which was then, you are referring to 7th October 2005. Uh, the Medical Device Act under this specifically mentioned that it was attempt to actually uh, this act had many provisions to suit medical devices, okay, and basically it all spoke about these certain items to be brought under the drug regime. Like your industry is awakened today, there were many industries which were shaken up, including orthopedic and drug-eluting stents, and everybody started fighting as to this is a medical device and should it come under Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1945. However, subsequent to that, the next jolt that came was directly in 2017 on Jan 31st, where the Medical Device Act was introduced in 2017. So we had a long time between 2005 to 2017, where there was nothing in between except for the 10 items which were identified to be drugs, were later on converted to 26 numbers by addition of few items. Now, the Medical Device Act, when it actually came into picture, it covers everything on the sun which falls as medical device apparatus. You name the thing, and it is all covered into a system. So, this covers almost everything under the sun that is used for medical purposes, right? So this is one of the biggest actions central government has taken to sort of have a good healthcare system in India. They want to bring healthcare system in India equivalent to most of the advanced countries, and probably most of the rules which are taken in Medical Device Act 2017 are close to CE, that is European Conformance, and US FDA, or combination of the both. So this act almost covers everything, and one of the best thing that is part of this regulation and the act is that it is a one-time certification. That means any manufacturer who applies for a license can get a certificate, and it's a permanent certificate unless they grossly violate certain, rules and regulations which they are not supposed to. Uh, Drugs and Cosmetic Act earlier did not permit the work to be done from the vendors, which is permitted under this particular act. Uh, the testing mechanism of various medical devices, which are different. For example, the dentistry will demand implants to be tested completely differently than the orthopedics, and everything in terms of testing mechanism is covered here. And each of the item has been classified into various categories like A, B, C, D. A is the lowest risk category, B is little moderate, C is higher class, and D is very, very high class. So, Medical Device Act came in 2017. Unfortunately, all the products that are covered under this act, there was no clarity on a given day on what classification it belongs to. Though they declared it should be A, B, C, D, on that day, there was absolutely nothing that was known to us. So all 29 earlier devices which were part of the system continued to proceed under the Medical Device Act. Next slide, please. Uh, the, the, the next slide talks about November 1, 2017. This is the day when Medical Device Act actually got converted into classification. On this date, the government classified about 351 different types of medical devices into A, B, C, and D category. Now, now let me explain you one thing. If you see a Drug and Cosmetic Act where there was 10th item I mentioned as internal prosthetic replacement, was clarified first time by the central government, and out of 351 types of medical devices, 207 serial number to 245 were part of internal prosthetic replacements. And this is where the dental implants of all kinds were completely regulated officially. Though they were part of Drugs and Cosmetic Act, most of the rule book did not, you know, uh, permitted the use of that. But with this particular notification, the 207 serial number to 245 of the classification got everything of the dental system into a play. So, to give you an example, dental implant, it was 228 in class C, which covers orthodontic anchor as well as the dental implant. So for you, what matters is the classification of the notified devices, which was declared on November 1, 2017, having a specifically number 228 or any number between 207 to 245 covers all kind of internal prosthetic replacement, its uses and the classification. Next slide, please. So once this was done, all the implants that were going inside the human body have been covered by the Medical Device Act. Now, the Medical Device Act did not cover non-notified devices. Non-notified devices are the instruments which are reused, various appliances which are reused, and they were not covered till then. It was September 3, 2020. Non-notified devices have been declared by CDSCO under the regime of local FDA. All up till now, whatever we were talking has been controlled by CDSCO. That is a central drugs agency from Delhi. Whereas, on September 3, they came out with a notification, low risk low risk instruments which are maybe used for ENT, ophthalmic, dental, orthopedics, all have been listed down. They've been put into category of A, B, and C. And it has been very categorically told by them that all items that are falling under category A will get a direct approval from local FDA with self-declaration without ISO 13485. All the instruments that fall under Chapter B would be applied to the CDSCO. CDSCO will pass it on to local FDA. Local FDA will appoint a agency to sort of visit them and audit them, which could be TUV, DNV. They have listed down about 12 notified bodies, and one of them you could choose whoever is doing your audit, and they will come and do your audit, and then the license will be issued under the category B. And C is a little harsher, but most of the instruments that we talk about, which are called as non-notified devices, are covered as part A and B, have been declared on September 3, 2020. So that is how the local FDA has come into picture, right? So there are two lists for the dental application. One is dated 23rd February 2022, which has Appendix A that covers drills, tabs, pushers, etc. And there is another appendix called as dental instruments, having 89 different parts covered in non-notified devices. So this is something which is very crucial, very recent, and post to this in 2022, September 3 was a non-notified device list. It has been published into an appendix, item by item, in the February of 2022. And subsequent to that, all the people were expected to reach to CDSCO for approval. They had given time till 1st of October to get this approval. All those who apply up to 1st of October will be given this particular registration by default. Those who apply post 1st of October will have to run through the process as if it is a new item. Okay, so these are 4 dates which all of you should know, remember, before we move into anything else, right? So covered most of the thing. Next slide, please.
Is the next slide
Okay.
visible?
Yeah, it is visible now. So now a simple question that is asked here is whose obligation is what? Here there are surgeons. Here there are, those who trade in the items or import the items. Here there are manufacturers. In simple words, manufacturer should have one-time license under Form MD9 or MD40, whatever you call it, for, from CDSCO for implants. There is no go. So all the implants that goes inside the human body, now in your case, all the parts which are covered as notified devices are required in the hands of manufacturer a manufacturing license, which is one-time license. It covers everything from testing to raw material into standards. If manufacturer is getting or selling the sterile product, he needs loan and license from a approved sterilization facility. It could be BARC, it could be any private facility which is legally approved by CDSCO, right? If he is doing any special processes, he will need import license. So a manufacturer needs 3 things, right? Coming down to instruments which are less risky, it is a non-notified device. You need one-time license either in the category A or B. A category is by default without any audit from the regulatory body. And even latest amendment says you don't need ISO 13485 for that. You can apply and get a license from local FDA by default under self-declaration. Category B needs evaluation in the hands of regulatory bodies, and subsequent to that, your license will be issued by the local FDA. So this is what is an overall situation of the manufacturer. As far as trader is concerned, he need a license 20B and 21B from the local FDA office. 20B and 21B has a difference in terms of wholesale and the retail. 20B is a wholesale license, 21B is a retail license, and you need both because somebody will be required to do a wholesale sale or maybe an individual sale. So based on that, it has to go. And last is the responsibility of a surgeon or a doctor. It is his own registration. There is nothing beyond that, except for the fact that he has to ensure that there is law of the land and the implants that he use, instruments that he use in his own practice are from the recognized reputed manufacturers and traders who have been legally registered with CDSCO and the local FDA. It is his moral obligation. There is I don't think I have seen certain raids that has taken place even in Sassoon Hospital, where it is a government hospital and still FDA had to act. So I'm not trying to sort of overbulge on the issue. The fact of the matter is, it is a legal obligation on the part of the surgeon to use right material for implants and instruments both. Next slide, and I think it is. Thank you very much. So, I've been sort of trying to just give you the facts in terms of dates and what is covered inside that. Now, there would be many who have got a background, who understands all the laws and nitty-gritties, and there would be few who may not know. But we are here to answer all your questions and look at it in a simplest possible form. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivek Mangalvedekar, sir. That was a very crisp presentation that took us right from the first day when these laws started getting implemented till today, and where we stand and what the manufacturer should do, the importers and traders should do, and the dentist should do. Okay, now we are throwing the forum open for questions. What we'll do is, first we'll take up the questions sent by our registered delegates. So they have come from all the corners. Manufacturers have sent. So you all have received those questions. So I request one by one you can ask from that list of questions. We'll start with Bhushan sir, who will ask from the manufacturer's point of view. Then Mr. Jignesh Shet will come for the traders, and lastly Dr. Vivek Patni will come. Over to you, Bhushan sir.
Okay. Yeah. Now the question from the manufacturer side is, for manufacturer separate 20B and 21B is mandatory.
Yeah, it is something to do with the trader. So manufacturer should sell his product to a trading organization only and only if he has 20B and 21B. As a manufacturer, you are not supposed to sell your product. Since you are licensed manufacturer, you can sell it to only one who has got a trading license of 20B and 21B. If it is not there, you're not legally supposed to sell it. And during your audit by the CDSC or FDA, if they find that you have sold it to a trader who doesn't have, a trading license, then it is a legal offense and it has punishments.
Sir, if I'm sorry,
whether we should obtain the 21B and 20B.
No, the manufacturer need not have 21B and 20B. The trader who is going to sell it in the market, he is going to go to you are a manufacturer, you will sell it to a trader, and trader will take it to a dental surgeon, right? So this trader in between is required to have 20B and 21B. So he buys from you and sell it further.
Okay. Now the next question is, now as a manufacturer, we have to do some kind of test. So now if the material as per the ISO standard we have selected to manufacture, whether the biocompatibility of the test, animal testing is required of that material or what it is?
Look, the fact of the matter is the animal testing is not been the way of life. There are a lot of debates on this. The fact of the matter that CDSCO has taken a stand that for each implant that you make, there is a standard, right? If you're making an implant in titanium, there are 5832 dash 2 5832 dash 3. They are part of titanium standard. As long as you use the material which is conforming to this particular standard, you are not required, you're not expected to do an animal testing. But if you're going beyond CDSCO, for CE compliance and US FDA compliance, they will ask from you the testing of biocompatibility, not animal testing, the biocompatibility testing of the titanium of a particular batch, maybe once a 3 years, which will confirm that the raw material you buy from a particular company of a particular standard is really biocompatible. So you may have to do it, but with CDSCO, as long as you are buying raw material conforming to standard, you have adequate documentation from the supplier of the raw material on this particular issue. You are not required to do an animal testing.
Now, one more question is, now if we have registered our company with CDSCO site, as well as certain products we have registered, we have got the license also.
Right.
If we want to make a new product, we should obtain the license for that also, or once this license is valid for the product, even if we develop?
No, the
Product.
CDSCO license is with respect to a given factory and a given product. That means today, if you have a license for 50 products and it is applicable at a particular address, if you add 51st product, it is like a new product which you will have to apply. You will have to get a test license. You will have to do a clinical study. You will have to submit the documentation with respect to that. And once everything is done, you get a commercial license which will allow you to sell your products in the market. So for these 50 products that already exist, nothing else needs to be done for rest of the life. But for new products that will come in, you will have to do everything that you did for first 50 products.
Okay. Now, and any external company wishes to enter a contract with us as a OEM or OBL.
Yeah.
We can be their vendor for manufacturing on the basis of ISO 13485.
Absolutely. See, that is the difference between Drug and Cosmetic Act 1945 and Medical Device Act 2017. When, earlier, when you had a license and you were manufacturing, dental implants, that time under Drugs and Cosmetic Act, if you want to manufacture for somebody, you have to put your license at stake. They can take a loan and license from you and make products and sell it under their brand. Medical Device Act 2017 is a different perspective, like CE or US FDA, where they are supposed to have their own license, and their own license, they can get it made from you based on their design, their specifications, and you can supply it to them as ISO 13485. So you have a traceability, you have accountability to what you produce, but you have no obligation to the design and registration of their license on your head. Now that is a technical difference between Medical Device Act 2017 and the Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1945.
So what they should obtain a license for their product?
Yeah.
And what process?
I mean, they do a particular process with them, which could be cleaning and maybe last phase out, which they could do it. It could be a laser marking, the ultrasonic cleaning and packing and labeling and kind of stuff. And before that, where there is a technical nitty-gritty, it needs CNC machine, it needs, this is medical device is a different field. It is not drugs. So, you have your expertise in tooling, you have an expertise in machines, you have an expertise in raw material, all that you can do it and give it to them as ISO 13485.
Okay.
And I think about the sterilization facility, loan licensing, you have already addressed about
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, you should apply for loan and license. BRC is approved. There are most of the manufacturers who are having a facility. They have been legally approved by CDSCO. You need to write to them, submit all your technical file, to them, and then the local, CDSCO office give you an approval for them after visiting them and auditing them.
Okay.
Okay.
Most of the points from the manufacturing side has been cleared. At least we got the uh, idea what to do and what are the laws says. So thanks for the mm, uh, answers we have received, and at least we can go further with your suggestions and all the things. So Dr. Rajiv,
Thank you.
next. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhushan sir. And next it's over to Mr. Jignesh Shet, who will be representing the importers and the traders. You may start with the questions of your segment.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Vivek sir, for fantastic information. We have list of queries from importers, traders. A lot of queries from manufacturers are already been answered by you, and this is quite informative. Okay, so number one is what are the documents to be maintained by importer or a trader, and what would be the costing for registration of the product?
Now, these are three different questions, and they have three different answers. So,
Okay.
if you're looking at now, let us first address the trader. Okay,
Correct.
and the trader, has to have has to apply for 20B and 21B to the local FDA office. Okay, if they
Correct.
are in Mumbai, or if they are in Pune, whatever city they represent. Now, local FDA inspector visits you, and it is like any chemist shop. You have to have 100 square feet. He has certain norms, a space for a refrigerator, blah 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 blah, and he then issues you a license based on uh, your your status. Fact of the matter is, this is a very normal formality. This
Okay.
takes about 1 month and doesn't cost much. What they need to maintain at their place is every purchase that they make from the manufacturer, and every sale they make to dental surgeon or a hospital or whatever.
Correct.
Okay, so medical device has to do with batch numbers. So whatever they buy, suppose I am a trader and you are a manufacturer, I buy from you, say, 100
Correct.
numbers of parts. For each part, there has to be a batch traceability. And when I sell my product to hospital or a surgeon, I track that particular batch number to my bill number wherever I am selling. So there is a complete tracking of the product in case there is a problem, right? So what they
Perfect.
need to maintain is the detailed batch number and invoicing of the purchasing and the sale both. This is all they are required to do. There is nothing beyond that.
Okay.
Addressing your issue of importers,
Correct.
the importer issue is little tricky. Importer is like a manufacturer. Let us be very clear. There is some manufacturer abroad who is sending the shipment to a person. They also want it to be regularized, so they would always give reasonable time so that the patient doesn't suffer. That's the beauty.
Okay. Do we have to take license for products which are not notified as class A or class B? If yes, under which class will they fall?
There is no product now which is out of the regime of non-notified products. You are either notified or non-notified, and all products are covered. If your product is not covered a particular, reach it to the CDSU in writing. It will be covered the next day. We had large number of products not covered. We wrote to them. It came into the list in next 8 days.
Presently, traders require consultants or agency to help them to get registration. Can someone suggest any private agencies because it is technically challenging to complete the process individually?
You're talking about manufacturer or trader?
Traders.
Trader doesn't need, it's not complicated.
Okay.
It's not complicated at all. They just
So,
need to visit that office, understand what needs to be done, and do that in 2 or 3 working days. It's not a big deal at all. For a manufacturer, yes, I understand there are a lot of things. Again, for importer, nothing will be required because the company from whom you're importing will have everything with them.
okay.
So they will give you a bunch like this and you can apply. So
I have a personal experience of the trading license because I have taken a trading license, and you just need to. There is a list of stipulated documents according to the state FDA that you need so much of area and you need all these facilities which are available, electricity and so on and so forth, and you need the ownership document or the leave license of that area that you have taken. So with all these documents you approach, and in fact I'll be very honest, those small kiosk people who sit outside doing typing and all that, they will fill your form for 200 rupees and they'll just tell you go up and give it to us. So it's that simple. I mean, even if you don't want to fill your form, there's somebody who will fill your form, and you just need to mail the document. It's extremely simple to get it done, and it's not difficult.
So manufacturers have it still challenge as a challenging thing, but importers and traders need not worry. It's still a simple process, and they can still handle it individually without requiring any agency to help them out.
manufacturer will have a challenge if he's making a notified device, which is more challenging. Non-notified device is not a big deal. It is doable, especially if he's doing notified devices. Non-notified devices is a formality.
Okay. How dentist or an end customer will know that the dealer is registered or not? Will it be there on invoice like GST? Will there be any scrutiny at end level by CDSCO in future whether the dentist has purchased the material from registered dealer or not? Any record to be kept at clinic level?
Okay, now this is a question from surgeon's perspective, right?
Yes.
So, to tell you simply, the manufacturer gets audited every year by the CDSCO persons. They come, they check whether manufacturer is selling to a trader who has a license or not. So all these issues are checked. From trader, there is every year a very disciplined visit from the FDA person who checks whether he is buying from a legal, authentic manufacturer having license, and he also checks whether the trader is selling with proper batch numbers to the surgeons or the hospitals. So that scrutiny is done by the local FDA. As far as hospitals are concerned, generally there is no checking done at the hospital level, but it is in the interest of the surgeon that he should retain all the invoices that he use, and a invoice from a legal trader means it will have his FDA registration 20B 21B number, which he should retain
Okay.
in his own interest.
Yeah, the number has to be on the invoice.
Yeah. And the batch number of each product that comes to him.
Yeah.
He's using it. In hospitals, it's a routine practice that trader, whoever sells it, the product has got the labels. They take out the spare labels and stick it on the invoice given to the patient. So patient also know what batch number product has been used for him. This is the best practice to follow.
Okay. In your opinion, how will the CDSCO deal with the high volume of pending applications, both for import and manufacturing, for various Class A and Class B medical devices that will be notified from 1st October onwards? Is
See,
a
I'll tell you,
disruption in supply expected due to unprocessed applications?
See, first of all, they are not stopping anybody from doing business. They are saying before 30th of so and so, you apply and you continue your business. So you get your license 1 month after that, 5 months after that is not your business. You have applied, you have a proof that you have applied, keep selling it. Right? Number one. Number two, for A and B category of instruments, the local FDA has appointed, I told you in Pune, they have appointed 29 medical device inspectors. They are under training. So this whole big lot is going to get into the market, which is going to reduce the load of A and B. Coming down to CDSCO themselves, they've applied, they've approximately appointed 450 medical device inspectors within their own category at the central government level, which supports the manufacturers for their licenses for C and D. So at every level, they have reacted. It will work, and nobody is going to stop. If you don't get your license on first, don't panic. If you have applied, hold on, it will come to you, and nobody
Okay.
will stop your business.
Somebody has sent a question through the host server. If a particular material is FDA approved, then do we still need to conduct animal trials in India?
What is FDA approved?
Maybe a bone graft?
Look, I mean, if it is CDSCO approved product, you have no liability to do any test. My product is CDSCO approved, right? Or Bhushan sir's product is CDSCO approved. I mean, as a surgeon, you just don't care. You use it. It's none of your business.
No,
So,
I believe what he's asking is that if there is an FDA approved product which is being imported or
That is US FDA approved.
marketed in India, do they need to conduct animal trials for CDSU?
not at all. If you are an importer, you have no obligation other than just a customer complaint. If
Okay.
something comes up subsequent to the use, you have an import license. That product is registered. You in US FDA or CE. The CDSCO has legally taken their file and given an approval for import. You are importing it, selling it. Absolutely nothing. You have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
You are a simple trader. Only thing is, instead of taking from an Indian manufacturer, you are importing it with your own license.
Okay. So I think we have covered all the questions so far, and Vivek Mangalwadekar sir has been kind and generous to give out extra time and answer all the questions. And now I think it's time for Mr. Jignesh here to invite Mr. Sanjeev Puri, give his introduction. And
Yep.
I request our ICPA team to bring Mr. Sanjeev Puri on screen from backstage, make him visible. And Jignesh,
Yeah.
kindly Mr. Sanjeev Puri, and then we'll give some time for Mr. Sanjeev Puri to express his opinions about the upcoming expo in Bangalore.
Yes. Okay. So, since everybody must be aware that we have been conducting expo under the banner of Aditi. Right now, I'm in Bangalore. We are preparing for Bangalore Expo, which starts from tomorrow. Mr. Sanjeev Puri, he is an organizing secretary for Expo Mumbai 2022, which will be held on 8th and 9th of October at Geo World. So he has a message for all the visitors for Mumbai Expo. Mr. Puri,
Okay.
on to you.
Very good evening to all the panelists. It was very interesting to listen to you and quite informative. Most of the questions that a trader, a manufacturer, importer has already been answered by all the panelists. And we will be holding our first expo after the notification or the 1st October date comes into place. Our exhibition will be held from 8th and 9th of October. So let's see how the exhibition goes and what kind of uh, actions are taken by the CDSCO or the FDA We hope that the Pune IDA, that was IOC that happened, that show there was some sort of a hiccup from the uh, CDSU people. I hope that does not happen here in our Expodent. My question is to Mr. Vivek.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, I would like to answer it as don't worry and there will be no problem.
Okay. So I
Look,
extend my invitation to all the panelists to our Expodent, which is going to happen on 8th and 9th. Please do come, and all the dentists will be there in large numbers. We are already having our online registrations. We have done about 1,500 plus online registrations for the event, and look forward to a very fruitful and successful event that's going to come in. And
There will be a slight change, I guess, Mr. Puri, out here is for a dentist, as Dr. Rajiv coined the term, everything is hands-free. So there will be a hands-free dental shopping.
very right, very right. Hands-free dental shopping. That's a nice tagline.
Yes.
You
So
come,
you
book
can
your
come.
orders,
Exactly.
and the materials will be delivered to your clinic.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You come to the show, meet the trader, get the demo done, ask your questions, take all the material, place order, and it will be delivered at your place. So why bother carrying it
Yes,
back all the way?
why, yeah, why carry all the load?
Very true, very true, very true.
I mean,
Yes,
I wish this exponent all the best. There was one important question nobody asked. I was expecting that question, and the question was, how about a cash sale? Will this medical device act affect the cash sale in any way? But that question didn't come, so it doesn't deserve an answer.
no, because basically every trade show has a cash sale. And now our traders are afraid that whether they will be able to have that sale here.
They will have it. Keep all your goods ready. Keep all your goods, under the
Stock.
table. And in the evening, wherever the event is, find out where your customer is, hand it over, and collect your cash.
Wow. That's a nice thing.
Sanjeev sir, you're
I
hearing
am
this
not,
from a veteran
yeah,
who has spent half a century doing this.
Absolutely, sir. We are almost 48 years old in this in this trade. Yes, yes,
yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
So,
Sanjeev Puri sir. Thank you for pitching in and giving assurance to everybody, and Vivek sir for giving assurance that the upcoming two exponents will be great. And as Jignesh said, let us all enjoy hands-free dental shopping.
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 And we wish
Yeah.
everybody great experience in the upcoming two exponent events. And I think it's time to wrap the event. We had a great session, almost 1 hour 20 minutes. Great question and answer session. I think we covered every question that was asked by our registered delegates as well as the people who are attending it live. So I thank Vivek Mangalwadekar sir, who came as the expert, answered all the questions. Mr. Bhushan Pitkar sir, who represented the manufacturers, Jignesh Sheth for the importers and traders, and Dr. Vivek Patni representing the dentists. And I hope you set an example for other dentists to carry the documents the way you carried for the iOS conference yourself. And let us all have hassle-free events and make sure that we'll all enjoy all the upcoming shows. Thank you, Sanjeev Puri sir, for taking out time and joining in. Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
very
Thank
much.
you, all the panelists, and thank you, all the viewers.
Thank
So
you.
that
Thank you.
brings the special episode of ICPA Clinical Series to a successful conclusion. We'll be coming up with our next episode, Clinical Challenge. We'll be announcing it on social media, and we hope to see you all soon in the next episode. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.